cells involving the 10-year lithium battery long-life smoke alarms. Just be reminded that this is a working firehouse, so there may be some interruptions.
My point here is that we can't do this alone. It takes a partnership. It's not the State Fire Marshal's Office, it's not the Maryland State Firemen's Association or the Maryland Chiefs or the Metropolitan Fire Chiefs. It's everybody working together. It's a community issue, and folks need to take some responsibility for their own well-being. With the technology upgrades and changes in smoke alarms that have occurred over the years, we feel that this is going to be a real significant change in that the Maryland smoke alarm law has been around for some 38 years. It's been amended several times over the years, somewhat because of changes in technology. And what we're looking to do with this most recent law is to take advantage of those new technologies. And in particular, smoke alarms that don't have batteries that can be replaced or taken out, so they stay operational during their entire lifespan. Today, for example, under the current legislation, you could have a two-story home with the bedrooms on the second level and a basement, and only have one battery-operated smoke alarm adjacent to the sleeping area. So if you happen to be in the basement asleep, your chances of hearing that smoke alarm 2 floors up are probably not going to happen unless something else happens to wake you up. That single station smoke alarm has worked well over the years, and what we're talking about is homes that were constructed in Maryland prior to 1975. Over the years, I mentioned there have been changes, and at some point around 1989-1990, Ben required smoke alarms to not only have AC power, but AC power with battery backup. New construction, based on the International Residential Code and according to the new Maryland law, is going to require smoke alarms on each level and in each bedroom, and they all have to be interconnected. So that gives you a warning no matter where you are in the structure. And what we're talking about here is primarily those older homes where they don't have an AC power source. They're using strictly battery-operated alarms. Many of those you would find here in Capitol Heights because the homes were built many years ago, and particularly in these older homes. And it's like, well, why isn't it working? Well, the battery was taken out because they started hearing this chirping noise at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. battery chirp. You don't have a 9-volt battery around, what are you going to do? You're going to take the alarm down, pull the battery out, all with good intention of putting it back in the next day. But life goes on. We're all busy. So what happens? It sits on the shelf, it gets put in the closet, in a drawer, and it doesn't get reactivated. Now we have a home that's not protected. Experience has shown that occupants of residential properties protected by 9-volt...
We put together a project out of the fiscal year 2012, a FEMA grant for a fire prevention and safety grant, which would allow us to go door to door to every house in our primary response area, our first 2 response area, to install smoke alarms. We also recognize that we're going to attempt to make contact with every resident, but that's not always possible. Sometimes they don't open the door. Sometimes we just keep missing each other. But what we're going to do is we've provided in the grant to install 5,000 smoke alarms so that we can reach every household in our first 2 response area and install up to 2 smoke alarms. We also are providing batteries to replace some of the older ones as we transition into the newer smoke alarms. And we're also, as part of the delivery and installation of the smoke alarms, we're providing each household with a kit that's not only going to include information on smoke alarms in general, how to test them, how to maintain them, we're also providing the resources they need to develop their own exit plan in case there is an emergency. So we're providing the literature and educational material as well as the smoke alarms. Now, some of the things that we're going to do when we follow up is we're going to go through an e-marketing service so that we can have the residents opt in to sign up for monthly checks where we send out a text message or an email where we can remind them to maintain their smoke alarms or change battery in the older ones or check their smoke alarm. We'll also use that as an opportunity to broadcast information if we have something significant in Prince George's County that happens and we want to remind people about safe use of surge protectors or kerosene heaters. We can blast that information out fairly easy to the residents in the town. That'll be strictly optional. We're also looking at updating the information we have on the department's website. If you go to our website, www.chbfd.org, there's a section in there called the Safety Zone, which you can download all of the fire prevention literature that we have, and it also provides you safety tips that you can use to stay safe in your home. So we're looking forward to getting started. We have not actually received the grant money yet, but it should be deposited shortly, we hope. And we can get started. It'll probably take us at least a year to make our way around door to door, but we're committed to doing that.
So we are honored to join the State Fire Marshal today in a new journey that will take us on a path of landmark changes for the fire service, for the state of Maryland, for Prince George's County, and today specifically for the town of Capitol Heights. And also the first due response area of the Capitol Heights Station, which for those that don't know, they not only cover the town of Capitol Heights, but areas outside the actual municipal boundaries that are in their closest response area. And talking about landmarks, February 19th and 20th, 2013 were landmark days for the Prince George's County Fire Department. On those 2 days, we experienced 2 significant home fires, both over $100,000 in property loss fires. On the February 19th fire on Peachtree Lane in Bowie, the smoke alarm awoke a sleeping resident just prior to 5 a.m. He got out moments before that home collapsed into the basement. 23 hours later, on February 20th, fire took the lives of 4 members of the Price family on Leslie Avenue in Glenarden. Daryl, Deja, Tania, and Patrice. Sadly, we found no smoke alarm in that home. On March 31st, just before 8 a.m. in Cheverly, another life was taken by a very smoky fire, a fire that we believe burned for hours inside the home before finally blazing through a window, alerting neighbors to call 911. Stephanie Sislow died in that fire. We found a smoke alarm there, however, it had no battery. The alarming story here is there are no working alarms warning these people. Nearly 900 of the 2,600 plus people that died in home fires last year in the United States could be alive today if they just had a working smoke alarm. Fast forward to this past Thursday, talking about landmarks again. May 16th was a landmark day for the fire service and all residents of the state of Maryland. I was proud to join John Denver and Harv Woods and others, Harv and Laura Woods and other fire service leaders with Governor O'Malley at the bill signing ceremony for the 10-year lithium battery smoke alarm law.
Thank you, Chief. First, I'd like to start by commending the state of Maryland for taking this very important step. There's 5 or 6 other states in the U.S. with similar laws, but the Maryland law is by far the most comprehensive. So hats off to them. You know, nationally, more than 2/3 of those who die in fires each year are in homes with no smoke alarms or no working smoke alarms. And nationally, I checked USFA that monitors residential fatal fires. I checked on Friday. Of the media reports that actually mentioned if there were working smoke alarms or not, 82% of home fire fatalities occurred in homes with no working smoke alarms. So this is a problem getting worse instead of better. And you know, you think about some of these stats, that someone dies in a fire every 169 minutes. The average length of a Washington Senator game is 169 minutes. So for every baseball game, you could, if you watch, somebody might die during that fire. It's startling. Annually, 2,600 people die nationally and another 13,000 injured. And in Maryland alone this year, 32 people have died in residential fires. So again, hats off to Maryland to take this step. And you know, what's great about these smoke alarms is they eliminate the human factor. They're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They never turn off. A recent study revealed that 61% of people have knowingly left their alarms without batteries in them. And I've got a feeling the numbers are a lot higher than that because a lot of people probably don't want to admit that. The batteries are actually sealed into the unit, which makes them tamper-proof. So you don't have to, or the fire industry at least doesn't have to worry about those batteries winding up in your TV remote or your children's toys or something like that. And we know that a lot of us have been guilty of that. Not anyone in this room, I'm sure, though. In terms of cost, these alarms will cost about $5 to $7 more than the traditional alarms that have been out there, but over the life of the alarm, there's about a $40 savings in battery costs. The new alarms also make sense because what a lot of people don't know is that smoke alarms should be replaced every 10 years. So after 10 years, approximately, these alarms will give you an end-of-life warning to let you know that you should get a new smoke alarm. We recommend that if you don't know how old your smoke alarm is, you should probably get it replaced. And one more thing, in addition to these smoke alarms potentially saving more people, we want to tell people is not to be underprotected. The NFPA recommends, and other leading organizations agree, that smoke alarms should be placed in every bedroom, in the hallway, in the kitchen area, and in the living area. So having one alarm in the house, working alarm, is great, but you should have more than that. And the reason why is, on average, you only have 3 minutes to escape a house fire. 3 minutes. That goes pretty quick. So the sooner you're alerted to a fire, the better chance you have to escape. And finally, you'll soon hear from Cathy Hedrick of the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. We're working with them on a program called Be a Hero, Save a Hero. And what we want residents to do is to be a hero by installing working smoke alarms, creating an escape plan and practicing it with their family. If it makes sense, putting a residential fire sprinkler in their home. But really, by being a hero, they have the potential of saving the firefighters out there from injury or death. The NFF says that about 1/3 of firefighter fatalities are injured or die each year in residential fires. So if the people are out of the house safely, the risk to the firefighters greatly reduced because they just have to worry about controlling the fire. So,
I represent the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation this morning, but more importantly, I represent parents. I represent spouses, sons and daughters of firefighters across this country. You heard Neal speak to you about the program that the foundation has initiated, Be a Hero, Save a Hero. By educating the public, you create an environment of safety, not only for your families, for your children, for your parents, your grandparents, but you create an environment of safety for your public safety officers, for your firefighters.
We look forward to continuing not only the Neighbors Helping Neighbors and our Safety First Day of the Month programs that the department has started, but we look forward to continuing our common good partnerships with donors. You heard Pepco mentioned earlier. We also have Washington Gas and BG&E who have donated alarms to us, along with corporate partners like Kidda, to eventually spread this effort across every street into every home in Prince George's County.